Here we have guidelines to write use cases, the continuation of that. Okay, let us understand these steps, the guidelines to be used while writing the use case. The first guideline here, a use case must provide something of value to an actor or to the business. Business means the library system you have taken as an example, no? Something like that. The actor means the participant, a clerk or a member or whoever it is. So you have to give some value. That means you will assign some ID number, no? That is the first step to be done. Next we have use case should be functionality. Use case should be functionally cohesive. I think last unit we discussed about the concepts, no? Other related concepts, cohesion and coupling and all we have discussed. Do you remember that? So cohesion, we have discussed that within the module you will have some n number of components, n number of elements. So those n number of elements, how they work together, how they function. So that is called as cohesion here. So that means what they encapsulate a single service that the system provides. Means you have several modules in a system. Each module will have several elements within that. So how these elements work together, function, so that you will complete the process. Okay, well, that means you have encapsulated all the elements, all the objects into a single module. So that is called as cohesion. That is to be done. That means who are all the participants, the librarian or a clerk or a member, a particular example I am talking about, and the system, how all these are going to work together to perform all those use cases. So coming to the next one, we have use case should be temporarily cohesion. This cohesion is not permanent. I was discussing in the last module. Once we go for concept of cohesion, then we go for coupling. So one module, within the one module, whatever the jobs assigned, we finished. Now we'll check with the module 2. So once module 2 finished its job, then what we will do, we'll couple the module 1 and module 2. Or we can integrate it. So cohesion is temporarily we are going to perform. Once cohesion is done, this notion applies to the time frame over which the use case occurs. That's here. If a system has multiple actors, each actor must be involved in at least one and typically several use cases. So in the library system, what are the multiple actors you came across? The member is one of the actor, and a clerk and a librarian and the system. System is not an actor, but it is a participant. Okay. So these actors is a clerk or a member or a librarian. So when you come across different multiple actors, here each actor must be involved in at least one and typically several use cases. So with respect to each and every actor, we are going to write a use case. A minimum of one use case has to be written for the particular actor. So the model that we construct is a set of use cases. You can write more than one use case for each actor. So to complete one model, we construct set of use cases. Okay, interaction between the clerk and the system, interaction between the clerk and the member, interaction between the member and book, all that, all transaction, different use cases we have studied. Those set of use cases we can write with respect to the job, whatever we want to perform the transactions. So next we have use cases are written from the point of view of the actor. So with respect to the actor, we are going to start writing the use cases. So member means what actually is going to perform. Based on that, we perform the transactions. So a use case describes a scenario. That's what we discussed. So many scenarios now, to place a hold, to remove the books, to add the book. That are the different scenarios. So we are describing the transactions in the different scenarios. So use case change over the course of the system analysis. Use case, you can write different use cases. It may not be same for different operation. It depends. Okay, for each of the operation, use cases will change. That will change the course of the system analysis. So we are going to analyze each of these use cases. The design part is done, planning is done. What is the next step? If any added knowledge is necessary, then we go for the second step. The use cases do not completely specify the system. Here you are not going to specify the complete system. Some of these missing details can be filled in by the class diagram. That's what. In the first step you have planned it, but when you write the use case, it will just give the idea, but it will not give the complete working principle is not given. So whatever is necessary, I need to add it now. Some missing details are going to be added. How is that you are going to add? You are going to fill it with the help of a class diagram. That is called as adding the knowledge. The necessary things are to be added. Step 3, error detection. In carrying out this step, this in the previous step, while when you add the required number of missing document, no, the details, the details of the object or details of the class. If anything is missing, that we are going to add. While adding that, you need to check if there is any error. Who is that going to do? The analyst. The analysts are forced to look at the system more carefully. When you do the perform the operation, the analyst should take care that there should not be any error, there should not be any failure. So the result can be shown to the client, because once you finish performing, you are going to deliver the product to the client. So before delivering, you should check whether any error is there. So the result can be shown to the client, who can verify its correctness. So finally, client is going to check whether you have given the product according to his requirement. Next we have useful documentation. The precise document, what you call the useful. Unnecessary things are not to be given. So the classes and relationships provide a quick introduction to the system for someone who wants to learn it. Just if you view the use case, no, the diagrams or whatever you written in the steps, no, if you view that, it will be easy to understand what actually the operation is taking place, what the transaction is taking place. So the classes and relationships provide a quick introduction to the system for someone who wants to learn it. For the beginner, it is very helpful. So whatever you define now, the relationships between the class, that will give a quick view of your system to the beginner. Such people can join the project to carry out the design or implementation. So the newcomer can easily look at this class and relationship and their relationship. So with the help of that, they can carry out the project, they can carry out the design, the implementation part, because method is easily shown. So, or he can, if he is already involved, he can maintain the system.